Hi, Subhash from dsf.my here. And behind is the Perodua QV-E. This is Malaysia's first homegrown electric vehicle. It was developed in-house by Perodua with help from a few partners. The chassis was developed with Magna Steyr from Austria, and you had other partners coming in with the battery and the other components that go into the EV. So this car was just launched this morning at the Meaty building, which we are in front of. It's a bit crowded inside, so we're shooting outside the building so that we have a bit more quiet and a bit more peace while we talk about the car. So there's a few interesting things to note about the car. Firstly, Perodua is going to sell it to you as two different pieces. One, the car will be sold to you for 80,000 ringgit, and the battery will be owned by Perodua but leased to you separately. So it's a very interesting arrangement. They're calling it battery as a service, and there are reasons for this. The biggest reason is to alleviate the battery related anxiety. So a lot of resale value concerns around electric vehicles are tied to the battery being a very expensive component to replace if it gets into an accident, or if it's at the end of its life, or if it doesn't retain charge anymore. So the way Perodua is getting around that is they build the car separately and they build the battery separately. So the battery, if it ages or if it gets damaged or whatever, that's Perodua's responsibility. You don't have to worry about it. They take out insurance on each battery, and they have their own way of dealing with it. So if your battery deteriorates within your ownership period, you can just swap it with Perodua anytime you want, and it's a fixed fee every month. They haven't revealed what the fixed fee will be, but I'm sure the details will be out soon. 80,000 ringgit for the body itself. You're getting an EV that is slightly bigger than your EMAS 5, slightly bigger than a Myvi, slightly bigger than many cars around that price point. It's a crossover body style. We haven't test driven it completely yet, but from our initial look at it, the front is relatively well sized. The rear, with the sloping roof and the high floor, is a little bit smaller than you might expect, but overall the car's footprint is well sized. The performance is relatively impressive. I have to refer to my spec sheet for this, but I believe it's 150 PS, around about that. Give me no, 150 kilowatt hour front wheel drive motor, 285 newton meters of torque, top speed 165 kilometers per hour, which is quite fast for budget EV. 0 to 100 in 7.5 seconds in sport mode, making this the fastest accelerating Perodua if you don't count modified Myvis and those kind of vehicles. Besides that, the battery is a 52.5 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery, so LFP battery. These are the batteries that go in most mass market Chinese vehicles. They are less prone to catching fire, and they are more stable if you charge them to 100% repeatedly. So these are the kind of batteries that you want in your mass market EVs, but they are not as energy dense as the NMC batteries. So as a result, your range is a little bit on the low side. They quoted an NEDC range of 445 kilometers. NEDC is a bit more generous in its range quotation than WLTP. So you can expect it to be about 80 to 90% of that in real world use. So closer to about 400 kilometers, which is still quite decent for a car of this price and spec. Besides that, the charging specs. So you got AC charging at 6.6 kilowatt, nothing very special. In fact, that's the bare minimum we expect. So it takes 8 hours to go from 0 to 100%. So this is an overnight kind of charge thing at your house. And you have DC charging from 30% to 100%. Sorry, 30% to 80% takes 30 minutes, and it's 60 kilowatt DC charging. So it's not particularly fast either. Besides that, you have your 3 driving modes: Eco, Normal, Sport, and you have 18-inch alloy wheels, and you have 2 color choices. One is more grey. Oh. Still recording? Yeah, so you got 2 color choices. One is a grey and one is an icy blue. They're both very similar to each other. They give a very high-tech feel to the car. And yeah, that is about all we know so far. Perodua is also giving you 2026 with no road tax if you buy this vehicle. So they're absorbing the road tax while they figure out some of the details, I suppose. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Perodua QV-E. They haven't mentioned anything about bookings being open or when deliveries can be expected, but we'll get more details in future. I'm Subhash from dsf.my. Thanks for watching. Not bad.
Heavy top.
The I guess the lens.